Well, hello there. This is Julie Wong from Mighty Hands. I'm really excited to share with you our December 2021 release. So here are our 8 new stamp sets, and I do believe there is something for everyone. So stick around and I'll show you a little bit more. So last year, our healing theme set, Jesus Heals, was very popular and it's currently sold out. Now we have Jesus Heals 2, which is an updated version of Jesus Heals. It has all the same content, it's just that the lettered sentiments have a different style. When I first designed Jesus Heals, I wanted to create a stamp set that really emphasized that healing is ours, that healing is here, that healing is now, healing is today, and healing is for every believer to take and receive and declare. So of course, one teeny tiny 4x6-inch stamp set cannot contain all of God's verses and promises on this topic because there are a ton in the Bible. So now we have this new stamp set called Healing is Yours. So I really wanted to include Romans 8:11, which tells us that the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives within us and quickens our mortal bodies. That is awesome, people. I designed this set so that it would pair well with Jesus Heals 2. It's got larger hand-lettered sentiments. With long life he shall satisfy you, it is well with my soul, and he renews your youth like the eagles. So the next set that I'd like to show you is, drumroll, our very first floral set called Flourish. So it has a wonderful sentiment which I think would work really well inside a card from John 3:2. May you prosper in all things and be in health even as your soul prospers. So just a quick tip on this focal floral element. I designed it so that you can turn it left, right, or upside down, and basically you'll get several floral looks from it. So it's not just one look. And then all the little elements that are around it can also be used to extend the floral and also on their own to create small little accents around sentiments, for instance. So with these 3 sets, you'll be able to create contemporary get well soon cards, bookmarks, gift tags, and also you'll be able to use them in your own journal to help you to meditate and receive God's promises in your life. Okay, so it's finally time to show you some samples. For the cards, I used the central floral from Flourish, and I also did a lot of ink blending and heat embossing. So now on the right there's pink stamping, and then over it I did some ink blending with Distress Ink Abandoned Coral, and the sentiment is heat embossed in gold. Here I stamped Surely You Shall Flourish in a pink ink, but I think it would look better in a darker color, perhaps a brown, and then I heat embossed the floral in gold. To achieve this very soft look on this card, I heat embossed the floral in white, and then I really softly ink blended pink and blue onto the edges. So similarly for this card, I also white heat embossed the florals and then lightly ink blended over them in green and red. To give some dimension to the card, I glued it onto a foam sheet and then glued this onto the card front. So I use exactly the same technique for the previous card as I used for this one. It's just that the ink blending is much darker, and you can see that for the 2 corners I used the opposite sides of the large floral, which is why they look different. And with Christmas coming up, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to create a Christmas card with classic sentiments. So as you can see, it's really easy to mix and match the floral with different sentiments to create cards for all kinds of occasions. And last but not least, if you're someone who enjoys coloring, of course, it's really fun to color in these large florals. I use my new Derwent Intense pencils for these. They're similar to watercolor pencils, but the pigment is actually ink, so it's not the same as what's inside a colored pencil. So other than the main colored in floral, I wanted to point out other places that I stamped this floral image on this card. I stamped the card base both on the outside as well as on the inside, and it really gives the card an elegant look and more texture. I also added some metallic paint splatters onto the background. So for this card, after I colored in the stamp image, I fussy cut it out, which means I just use a very small pair of sharp scissors to cut out the image, and then I popped it up using some foam tape. So I really like how this card declares, by Jesus' stripes you're healed, and then on the inside it has the backup verse from Isaiah. Next, I'm really excited to share with you our new die-cut bookmarks. These are our exclusive design and we had it made on 2 different types of paper. This is the 400 GSM white cardstock and it's really sturdy, so it's very suitable for bookmarks. I really think bookmarks need to be thick and sturdy so that they can last a long time. This is 100% cotton watercolor paper. It's 300 GSM and is cold pressed. That means that it has a bit of a texture on the surface. So let's compare them to decide which one might be better for you. The white cardstock is a bright white and it's thicker and smoother than the watercolor paper. Because it has a smooth surface, it's especially great for stamping, heat embossing, coloring, ink blending, calligraphy, brush lettering, and also some light ink and wash, so you can use some wet media on it. The watercolor paper works for all those things as well, but it definitely will perform better with wet media such as watercolor paints. So if you want to go over a spot many times with water, the watercolor paper will be much better. I made these bookmarks similarly to how I made some of the cards earlier on, which was to first heat emboss in white with the sentiments and the florals, and then to go over the entire bookmark with an ink blending tool and distress inks. The hand-lettered sentiments from Healing is Here fit on these bookmarks perfectly, and they make such wonderful, encouraging gifts. Here's another set which I really like. It's the Bless the Lord stamp set. I wanted to put some of my favorite Psalms into a stamp set in a format that I could use for bookmarks and tags and smaller projects. These messages are perfect for encouraging others as well as yourself. That's why I consider this set to be a must-have set. I also wanted to just take a moment to talk about our new Bible journaling kit, and we use the journaling psalter for this kit. Since Bible journaling is a relatively new concept in Singapore, I just wanted to create this kit to get you started. So you get an ESV Book of Psalms, which is what the Psalter is, and then you get 3 stamp sets, an acrylic block, 2 ink pads, and a bunch of bookmarks. And if you're interested in doing some ink blending like you see in the background here, we've also got a kit that includes the ink blending tool as well as some inks. So here's another set called See Jesus, and I've actually had this set on my heart since the first release, but somehow or another I didn't quite have the right ideas. It just didn't come together, but this time I think it worked out. This set is about looking away from challenges, looking away from the situations that trouble us, and looking at Jesus and his righteousness, which is actually now our righteousness by faith. And last but not least, we have these wonderful stamp sets by Amy Domingo. We have Walk by Faith, Jonah, and Dive Deep. So Walk by Faith has the absolute cutest little girl inspired by Little Red Riding Hood walking into the forest. Unlike the girl from the story who had a lot to fear when she was going into the forest, our Little Red Riding Hood has the word, which is a lamp unto her feet. And that's not all. The Lord is with her, and she knows how to walk by faith, not by sight. So she doesn't just look at her environment and freak out and get all scared. She actually can know by faith that God is with her and that He is there to help her in any situation. So lastly, we have Jonah and Dive Deep. These 2 stamp sets were actually designed based on the story of Jonah the prophet, and because we had the big fish, then we thought that, oh, it'd be nice to extend these sets to also have a underwater theme with Dive Deep. There's so much that we can learn from Jonah's experience. God is full of grace, mercy, and compassion, and He hears your cry even from the deepest ocean. That's fantastic news, isn't it? Dive Deep works really well with Jonah by extending the ocean theme with the 2 cute snorkelers and diving deep into God's love. These stamp sets are based on profound scriptural truths of God's deep love, His mercy, how He waits for us to change our heart to be aligned with His, and how even when we are in disobedience, He will still take care of us. I made these adorable bookmarks using our Walk by Faith stamp set. Here are some more ideas for you using the Jonah and Dive Deep stamp sets. This is one of my favorite bookmarks. I kind of like that Deepest Ocean is a bit messy and looks like it's fading and trailing off. This is a watercolor bookmark, and it's actually on our new 100% cotton watercolor paper bookmarks. I made these bookmarks by stamping in a colored ink and then clear heat embossing over it, and then going over it again with ink blending or watercolor paint, or both. This is our December release. I really think it's a wonderful release with something for everyone. If you like to color, if you like to create scenes, if you like to do elaborate stuff, there's something for you there. If you prefer to, just stamp a flower, stamp a verse, do a little splatter here, a little paint background there, there's something for you there too. We have a lot of great little verses that we've handwritten this time around. So I hope that you can find something that you can use to share your faith with others, to be an encouragement, to bless people. And all this including our new die-cut bookmarks. We have white cardstock as well as watercolor bookmarks are available on our website right now. There are lots of kits. We have Bible journaling kits, starter kits, Christmas kits, and we have a deal on the entire new release. So make sure to check that out. And if you enjoyed this video or want to see more, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also make sure to follow us on Instagram, which is where there'll be a lot of inspiration for you. May you have a wonderful day, and God bless the work of your hands.